Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. I am Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and this is a SPC video. This is talking about the potential severe weather that's going to be going on across the United States, particularly in the Great Plains as well as in areas such as Minnesota and the Minneapolis area. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. There's a slight risk of severe weather in parts of South Dakota and Nebraska, marginal risk from Wyoming all the way to Minnesota. Another marginal risk in New England as well as down in Oklahoma and Texas. Let's look at the tornado threat. There is no tornado threat. It's less than 2% in all areas. So there's zero tornado threat, ladies and gentlemen. So that's good news. The wind threat is at 15%, but look at this hatched area. That means there's a 15% risk of 65 knot winds happening within 25 miles of a point. 65 knots is equivalent to 75 miles per hour. The hail threat is at 15% also. So that's basically your generic setup right there. Let's go ahead and look at the models right here for tomorrow. This is what we have for the wrap. Let's go ahead and take a look at the HER as well. So this is at 23Z. This is at 0Z. It's about 7 p.m. Central Time right here, and we're seeing areas of around 2 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. We're seeing areas cracking 3,500. Small areas of 4,000 joules per kilogram as well in parts of Nebraska. In parts of South Dakota, we're seeing more areas around like 500 to 700 joules per kilogram of CAPE and all that. So it's an area we need to keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and go take a look at the temperatures and the dew points. Let's take a look at the temperatures first. The temperatures in the severe weather, it's going to be in the lower 80s in parts of South Dakota and be in the mid to upper 80s, as well as cracking 90 in a few areas in parts of Nebraska that are going to see the severe weather. And eventually, it's just like this is where it's going to get, and then it just cools off because then it's nighttime right there. And that's basically what we have. I mean, that's basically the situation. So for that, let's go ahead and take a look at the dew points. Yeah, the dew points, they're actually not that impressive if you look at them. They're not that impressive. They get more impressive in the overnight hours. As you can see right here, the dew points, they do crack 60 in some areas in South Dakota. They get to the low 60s in parts of Nebraska right here where that severe threat is. So it's not really, we're not looking at that much of an impressive severe weather buildup for tomorrow in these parts of this part of the country. So what I'm going to say about that is that basically if you're in South Dakota and Nebraska, expect some generic thunderstorms, maybe some pretty gusty wind, maybe a little bit of hail, but that's all you should be expecting. However, day 3 is where things get really interesting, because if you take a look at the day 3 outlook, look at this. We now have a 30% risk of severe weather from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, down to basically this hatched area. The hatched area of severe weather is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, down to McCook, Nebraska. The 30% risk extends in Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. The hatched areas in that area, the 15% risk goes all the way from Wisconsin to southern Nebraska right there. So we need to be keeping an eye out for this. This enhanced risk we have right here. So this is the probabilistic we have. So we have a 30% risk of significant severe, which is that hatched area, which means there's a 10% or greater probability of significantly severe weather within 25 miles of a point. So this should be very interesting, and we need to keep an eye out on this for one particular reason. The CAPE on this, if you take a look at the RAP model, the CAPE on this just is insane. And when I mean insane, we're seeing some areas, like by 7 o'clock at night in the area of severe weather, we're seeing areas cracking 5,000 joules per kilogram. And 5,000 joules per kilogram, that is a lot of energy right there. So that's basically what I'm looking at. And if those wind profiles, those wind shear profiles, and all that stuff, if they match up, that is going to be very conducive for severe weather. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dew points. We're looking at dew points in generally most of Minnesota and Iowa from the mid to upper 60s, but in this part where that CAPE is, we're looking at dew points of like in the up to the mid 70s in some areas. So everyone needs to be paying attention to this as these storms barrel through. And these could potentially get really bad. These severe weather can potentially get really bad. And the temperatures in these areas, we're getting the lower 80s. So we're going to be seeing humidity rates potentially in the 90s at this point. So this is a particularly good day for severe weather, actually. And if you're in Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota, where that enhanced risk is, you need to keep an eye out, and you need to stay tuned, and you need to pay attention, because this looks pretty crazy right here. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the day 4 outlook, because that gets even not really more interesting, but this is what we're looking at in parts of Nebraska and Kansas right here. So this is the 30% risk for severe weather right here. It's a little bit of a thin area, which looks like it's going to be more of a wind threat than anything. But I'll be keeping an eye out for you guys just to make sure. So let's go ahead and go use the NAM model, and let's actually use the Central Great Plains model for this one. And this is what we're looking at for parts of Kansas and Nebraska. We're looking at a thin area of 3,000 to 3,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE right here. So potentially favorable for some good severe weather. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dew point temperatures. They're not the most impressive, but they're good enough to warrant some good severe weather. We're looking at upper 60s, cracking 70s in a couple of areas. Temperatures. The temperatures are around 84, 85 in this thin area, so we're going to be seeing humidity in the upper 70s to lower 80s percentile range in this part. So it's not necessarily the worst day in the world, but it's not. Day 3 is better for severe weather than day 4 is, and I'll be keeping an eye on that. I've been keeping tabs on a lot of severe weather as well as tropical weather recently, so it's been kind of had to jumble a lot of things a lot, but yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on this, and I will continue to update you guys as the situation develops. But with that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out and helps me make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather, and especially severe weather, tropical weather, and winter storms. The winter storm season's pretty much over. It's late May, so you don't have to worry about those. But I'll be keeping an eye on for those severe storms as well as those hurricanes that may be coming through. But with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. Stay safe.